So what should you eat when you're out wild camping? Well, it's a lot about personal taste and there's loads of options out there to choose from. So in this video, I'm going to run through some of the options. We'll take a look at the pros and cons and the costs and the kit that you'll need as well to cook them up. And we're going to start with what I think is one of the easiest options. So you'll probably want to start just with good old-fashioned cooking. Grab yourself a pan. Now this is a cheap supermarket frying pan that I've had for a long time. I've just cut most of the handle off to make it easier to fit in my rucksack. And then you'll need to get yourself a stove. So you can get away with a cheaper stove for this. You'll need one that is a decent-ish size so that it's big enough and wide enough to hold your pan and stably hold your pan. You need to get yourself a gas canister as well to power the stove. This is a Vango one that I think was about 13 quid. And that's the only thing that you need to buy. You'll get a gas can for £3.99 usually. So it's minimal investment, and it means that you can cook the food that you like to eat, whether that's steaks, chicken, sausages, bacon, whatever you can cook in a frying pan, you can cook up outdoors on one of these stoves. With this method, you can also look at the Trangier style alcohol stoves if that's something that you want to look into. You can pick one of those up really cheaply, and the fuel's quite cheap for those as well. One of the main disadvantages of this approach is obviously the weight. You need to carry the pan, you need a decent sized stove to hold the pan, and the food itself is usually pretty heavy as well and pretty bulky. So the next thing you might want to move on to is these sort of dried pots that you just add boiling water to. These are really light, they're quite filling as well, and they're really cheap. You can get them in pots. So I've got a pasta and sauce, and that's a rice, chicken tikka rice one. Or you can get these pouches that are a lot easier to pack in your rucksack. You can get these for about 50p. These are probably about 80p or a pound or so. You do have to watch the calories with these. So if you're out hiking, you're burning a lot of energy, a lot of calories, you do need to replenish that. And a lot of these are really low calorie. So this one's only 211 calories for the pouch. So what I would do with that is add some extra meat to it or take some bread along with me to dunk into it, just to bulk it up a bit and add those extra calories in. And the kit you'll need for these kinds of meals, you just need boiling water, so you can go for a much smaller and lighter stove. Here I've got a BRS 3000. It's a titanium stove, 26 grams, weighs nothing, costs about 14 quid off Amazon. And then a titanium mug, just for boiling up your water, and that will hold that mug perfectly. And it'll boil up enough water just to make one of those meals, or a meal and a drink as well. And you'll get the titanium mug for a similar sort of price, about 14-15 pounds. So 30 quid all in, plus your gas canister to be able to boil up water for your meals or a hot drink as well. So next up, if you don't want to mess about with boiling up water, you might want to look at these wet meals. So I've got some Wayfarer ones here. I've got a meatballs and pasta and a chocolate brownie pudding. So with these, you don't need to add anything to them, it's just a case of warming them up. You do get the choice though, you can either tip out the contents of the pouches into a pan and heat it through, or you can boil these in a pot to warm them inside the bag, and it saves a little bit of washing up that way if you're lazy like me. Now these are quite expensive, these are about £4.50, £5 each, but it is a full meal in a pouch, and it does have that calorific value that you'll need when you're in the outdoors. So this one, as an example, meatballs and pasta, is nearly 500 calories for that pouch. So really good at replenishing that energy. And in terms of kit, if you do want to decant this into a pot, you could put it into a titanium pot or any cheap camping pot and use it on any of the two stoves that I've shown you previously. Or if you want to heat it up in the pouch, if you fold the sides over on these, they fit really nicely into these kind of jet boil type stoves. So this is a cheap alternative to a jet boil. It's a Jobsworth X2. These specific ones aren't for sale anymore, but Fire Maple make them. You can get them from Altkit, and you just put water in there, drop the pouch in, and once it's boiling you leave it for 8 minutes, and that heats it up in the pouch. And then you could decant it and eat it, or eat it straight from the pouch to save a bit of washing up. And another way of doing these wet pouches is to make your own. So you can buy the bags, the empty bags. You can cook your own food, whatever you like to eat, fill these bags and then seal them at the top by just applying a bit of heat. That seals the pouch and then it's ready to take out with you. So you can make meals specifically for these pouches, or you could even take leftovers from a stew or a spaghetti bolognese and pouch these up and keep them ready to take out with you. These work out at about 49p a bag. For the large ones, I can't remember the price of the small ones, but I just got these off eBay in packs of 10. So that might be something that you want to look at to save a bit of money. So next we'll move on to probably one of the most popular options, and these are the proper dehydrated meals. I've got a Summit to Eat pasta arrabbiata here. This is one of the larger ones. And then I've got a chocolate mousse with granola and cherry. So you can get the main meals in that sort of size. This is a large one that I just wanted to try out. These, as you'd expect, are really lightweight. They have got all the calories in them that you'd need for a full meal just from that pouch. There's loads of choice out there. There's loads of different brands. One of the most expensive ones that I've seen is these Real Turmat ones. These go up to sort of 10, 12 pounds each per meal, which is a lot. But the one that I've had was really, really nice. Whether it was worth £12 or not, debatable, probably not. But for a treat, for every now and then, these are really good. As I said, they are really lightweight, and you just add boiling water to these. So you could use a titanium pot, you could use one of the Jobsworth stoves or the Jetboil type stoves. Anything that'll boil water up will be perfect for these meals. And you can eat them straight from the pouch as well with a long-handled spoon or spork. So I guess in summary, you need to choose the meals and the meal types that suit your trip and your style of trip. Maybe you enjoy the process of cooking outside and you just want to take a pan and a stove and rustle up whatever it is you like to eat. Or maybe you just want to hike for longer, knowing that you can really quickly rustle up a meal just with some boiling water, and that'll fill you up for the day before you go to sleep for the night. And obviously think about your budget. So you've seen things ranging from pretty much free, just grabbing stuff from the fridge at home, to sort of 10, 12 pounds for the high-end dehydrated meals. So there's something for every budget, and depending on what kit you've got as well, you may need to purchase extra kit to be able to cook and prepare these meals. And you can always mix it up. I like to take one of these dry pasta meals and take some meat along with it, so whether it's some chicken or a bit of sausage, a bit of beef, mix it up a bit. Or you might want to have a dehydrated meal for dinner and then cook yourself up a proper breakfast in the morning. And as always, I'm no expert in any of this, it's just my own thoughts and opinions, so drop us a comment below and let us know what kind of food you like to take when you're out on wild camps. And if you are just getting into wild camping, go check out this video where I've got 5 tips to help you plan your first wild camp. Give that red subscribe button below a click, and I'll see you in the next one.